Madam Speaker, I rise in strong support of this resolution and yield myself as much time as I may consume. Bangladesh is going through an important time in its history as she attempts to move back to a representational government. Since October 2006, Bangladesh has been under the control of two different caretaker governments. After the January 2007 elections were postponed, a second caretaker government, backed by the military, came into power and since then has been attempting to deal with what has become rampant corruption, violence, and political instability. Once in power, the caretaker government instituted a state of emergency that suspended fundamental rights guaranteed by the Bangladeshi Constitution. They subsequently detained a large number of politicians and others on suspicion of involvement in corruption and other crimes. While I continue to remain concerned about the arrests of so many under the emergency powers rule, I must commend the caretaker government for establishing institutions to fight corruption and bring about national reconciliation between the political parties. But these gains have been marred by serious reports of human rights violations of those held in custody. Bangladesh must respect all the rights of her people and prosecute cases before her to the letter of the law. But the next step is giving people back the power in Bangladesh. Nearly 2 years after the postponement of elections and the state of emergency was declared, the caretaker government is following through with a roadmap towards elections that they have presented. Just this past weekend, the chief advisor of the caretaker government announced that parliamentary elections will be held on December 18, 2008. This is an important step, but an election held under a state of emergency is a questionable approach to establishing democratic governance in Bangladesh. The bill before us calls on the caretaker government to relax the society to ensure that public gatherings during the campaign are allowed to take place. This election is about bringing true democracy back to Bangladesh, and it must be held with all the freedoms their constitution grants her people. Bangladesh has been a strong friend and ally of the United States and is a moderate Muslim nation. And we should do what we can to foster continued growth of democracy not only in the nation of Bangladesh, but throughout that region. We must work to ensure that the elections held in Bangladesh are free, fair, credible, peaceful, and transparent. I introduced this legislation in July to set out what we, the United States Congress, expect of Bangladesh, and we, the people of the United States, expect of Bangladesh. I urge all my colleagues to support this legislation. It has the backing of the Bangladesh caucus, which I chair here in the House of Representatives, and I believe that with fair, free, transparent, and open elections, Bangladesh will move towards a more democratic society. And with that, I retain the balance of my time.
Gentleman